What's going on, friends? Harley-Davidson is about to experience an identity crisis trying to break into the small displacement motorcycle market. Now, Harley-Davidson, unfortunately, has only been known for one thing, and that one thing is being Harley-Davidson, and small displacement motorcycles really don't mix with Harley-Davidson. The issue with Harley-Davidson being Harley-Davidson is that folks do not associate affordable, small displacement, reliable motorcycles with the Harley-Davidson brand. Now, this is going to take quite a bit of work on Harley-Davidson's part to actually get that out there and get people associating Harley-Davidson with a small entry-level motorcycle, because I don't know about you, but when it comes to starter bikes or small displacement or entry-level anything, Harley-Davidson really didn't come up in conversation. When we were talking entry-level Harley-Davidson, we were talking about buying a Sportster, getting your feet wet on the brand, and then trading up to a twin cam, a big twin Evo, or maybe even a Milwaukee 8. So one of the biggest challenges that Harley-Davidson has got going forward is they've got to figure out a way to get people associating Harley-Davidson with an actual Harley-Davidson, and also getting people to accept that they do now offer nice small displacement motorcycles that are selling at a reasonable price point. Guys, please don't forget, if you enjoyed today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, for many of you that know Harley-Davidson or have been around Harley-Davidson for years, you're probably having a little PTSD of the AMF years because, as you know, Harley-Davidson acquired Ermeci, or however you say it, the Italian company, and they were basically taking their motorcycles and slapping Harley-Davidson on them and selling them as small displacement units. Well, we can honestly say that if that was highly successful, Harley-Davidson would still be doing it today. But given everything with the AMF fallout, Harley-Davidson got back to the basics, scrapped everything, and went forward with what they knew worked and what they knew sold. And that was basically scrapping everything else under the Harley-Davidson umbrella at the time and going forward with the Evolution engine. And since that time with the Evolution engine, Harley-Davidson has pretty much produced absolutely nothing but the big twin Evo and the Sportster, and it wasn't till about 2002 that Harley-Davidson actually introduced something new with the V-Rod. Now, the V-Rod was honestly a huge success for something that's a Harley-Davidson that wasn't a Harley-Davidson. Harley-Davidson already has done a lot of things to try to streamline their business. Sadly, basically, they got rid of the Dyna line, completely scrapped it when the Milwaukee 8 come out, instead of basically making a different iteration of the Milwaukee 8 that would work in the rubber-mounted Dyna chassis. And also they got rid of the Sportster line, which in turn allowed them to completely shutter the Kansas City plant, which really sucks because that was pretty awesome, having one plant that was dedicated to nothing but Dynas and Sportsters. Now, after Harley-Davidson shuttered the Dyna line, shuttered the Sportsters, they had pretty much condensed their entire line of motorcycles. Because if you guys remember, back in 2016, the pre-Milwaukee 8 years, you had a plethora of choices from Harley-Davidson. They had all kinds of Dyna models, Softail models, touring models, lows, highs, you name it, all kinds of different editions, classics, specials. They used to produce quite a variety of motorcycles, and in all honesty, it was a lot to swallow and keep up with if you weren't familiar with Harley-Davidson, and trying to find the right one was quite a bit overwhelming, to be honest with you. Now, I will give Harley-Davidson this. They had tried and tried over the years to introduce different motorcycles in different lines. But the issue that I'm really having, and I'm really afraid of what Harley-Davidson is going to do, especially with the latest talk of this $6,000 price point motorcycle, is that this is going to be a foreign-made motorcycle. It's not going to be designed and built in-house by Harley-Davidson. It's going to be from a different foreign company that is basically rebadged with Harley-Davidson on it. Now, I'm sure on paper this sounds like a great idea, but there's some problems with this right here. You're basically getting something from a company that doesn't really compete with the likes of Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki, anything metric that is already in that small displacement market. Any manufacturer that Joe Blow that really doesn't know anything about motorcycles other than he wants one and he's looking to get started on something, Harley-Davidson is usually not their first thought that comes to mind. They're thinking about a metric manufacturer like Honda, a company that is well known and well established in that market with those kind of motorcycles. Now, as I mentioned, you're taking something from another company and rebadging it Harley-Davidson that really doesn't have the performance or the reliability of the well-established metric manufacturers. You're already setting yourself up for failure. Now, I understand the whole goal with doing this at Harley-Davidson is to capture newer, younger riders coming up, offering something in a small, approachable displacement that somebody without a lot of riding experience can go to the academy, get comfortable on, possibly even buy one of those, and they're in the Harley-Davidson family, they're riding a Harley-Davidson, and naturally as they progress through their riding career, the next step is to step up onto the new Softail and then later on eventually get a large touring motorcycle. Well, that's the problem with getting a manufacturer that's probably a little bit subpar compared to the better motorcycles that are already established on the market, putting Harley-Davidson on it. You get them on one of those motorcycles and they have a terrible experience with it. It's going to go back to the whole, oh, I should have bought a Honda, I should have bought a Yamaha. And basically Harley-Davidson is going to shoot themselves in the foot right out the gate with trying to take on this new project. I completely agree. Harley-Davidson needs new riders. They need younger riders. They need fresh blood coming into the brand. A lot of the folks that made Harley-Davidson great, gave them their absolute best years from the 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. A lot of those folks have already bought their last motorcycle or they're pretty much done riding at this point. So having somebody to backfill the outgoing customers, this is paramount for Harley-Davidson. Harley-Davidson really has an opportunity right now to get this right and build lifelong customers. But I hate to say it, I don't have a lot of faith that Harley-Davidson's going to get it right. I don't have a lot of faith that at that price point, Harley-Davidson's going to have a heavy hand in designing and engineering a small displacement motorcycle that is 110% reliable, that can compete with a Kawasaki, a Yamaha, a Honda, a Suzuki, any of these metric manufacturers that make stone-cold reliable small displacement motorcycles for those markets. It's a tough sell for Harley-Davidson to build something that can compete at that price point with that kind of reliability that those motorcycles have. I just do not see how Harley-Davidson's going to be able to do it. I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful they build something that is an absolute hit for the company and brings in a lot of new riders and gets them out there with something that says Harley-Davidson on it at this point. The biggest issue for Harley-Davidson when it comes to that is that Harley-Davidson has never really expanded its brand. They don't have years behind them of having several different motorcycles. When you think of a Honda, Yamaha, Kawasaki, Suzuki, they have a wide variety of offerings, not only in motorcycles, but side-by-sides, watercraft. There's just all kinds of things that come to mind when you think a lot of other motorcycle manufacturers out there. But when it comes to Harley-Davidson, the only thing Harley-Davidson has is basically big V-twin air and oil-cooled cruisers. Now, I agree that, you know, they have expanded out into different avenues that have been pretty well successful with the adventure bike and the Pan America. I don't know about the new water-cooled Sportsters, how well they're catching on. But when it comes to it, a lot of the management at Harley-Davidson were actually really surprised that a lot of people did not know that they actually made an adventure bike, because Harley-Davidson is not known for anything like that. But I will say on the Pan America, I feel like Harley-Davidson did a pretty good job on that and got it right. But the only thing is that they've got to get it right and do that same thing, but make it cost around $6,000 or less and make it as reliable and a good enough value and give you enough motorcycle at that price point to where you don't say, why would I buy that? I could just go to buy a metric and have something that's reliable and it's a lot more motorcycle. And that does come up quite a bit with Harley-Davidson. Although Harley-Davidson, when you get in their bread and butter of their big twin cruisers and their big touring bikes, they're really hard to beat for what they offer you and what they are. It really is honestly getting to where it is a toss-up between Indian and Harley-Davidson. They both have their good points and they both have their low points. But guys, I want your opinion on this. I've been thinking about this a lot myself. How is Harley-Davidson going to break into this small displacement market and actually make it work? Not just with the price, but with offering enough motorcycle for the money that is reliable. Do you think Harley-Davidson can do it? Do you actually think they're capable of it? Or do you think Harley-Davidson is going to hire out to a subpar manufacturer, stick their name on it, and it's going to be a complete disaster? Let me know what you think down in the comments. But anyhow, guys, that's all I've got for you this week. If you guys enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't done so already. But till next week, guys, you stay safe on the streets, ride smart, dodge those cars. I'll catch you guys back here next week with a brand new video. Thanks for watching.